I was having a discussion with somebody about Marcus Sasser. And while through two regimes, Marcus Sasser don't get no burn. I think he's a solid defender. I get people say he's small, and I really don't get into none of that, bro. He was good enough to make it in the first round. All that high shit. Well, they don't defend. They gonna pick on. I remember Kevin Durant said they gonna pick on you. They pick on Luka. The fuck? Being tall and big don't mean you're a great defender. You know, there was some great small defenders, man. Isaiah Thomas was a really good defender. Earl Boykins was a good defender. Muggsy Bogues was one of the greatest on-ball defenders. Mookie Blaylock wasn't that big. He was a great defender. And in the grand scheme of things, Ben Wallace is very undersized. He's one of the greatest defenders of all time. So I don't want to hear that about he being a small guard. My thing is this. You have Kevin Huerter, who clearly struggling with his shooting stroke. Hopefully Fred Vincent can help him get online with that. And couples, maybe he get comfortable getting some of these looks that he accustomedly wouldn't get. In Chicago, right? So he can find that Atlanta form. Who knows? If he don't, at the end of the season, he walk. Hopefully, you hope Karras can find his form. He's had a whole half season to get there. He hasn't got there. I made the video. Maybe it's time for him to find a rhythm in the starting lineup. When y'all see that video, or if you've seen it, or when you see it, I don't know how in order I'm gonna put up. It'll make, I explained it in, from the short form version. But hey, check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. It's the first link in the description. Say find me everywhere. You can find me everywhere on social media. But for Sasser, I don't know what it is. Is it mental? I know he had an injury this year. Dennis Jenkins passed him by. I think Ivy was getting more minutes than him before he traded him. So yeah, my thing is like, what's up with Marcus Sasser? Like, why he can't get on the floor? Because he get on the floor, he does a great job. Through Monty Williams, hopefully he's doing well too. Through Monty Williams, regime, he couldn't get on the floor, even when it was really bad. And even with JB Bickerstaff, they not putting him on the floor, and he's a bucket. I mean, as far as he ain't a liability defensively. It seemed like he take maybe he take too many shots without the offense, but he instant offense. And I know it's kind of hard throwing the backcourt with him and Dennis Jenkins out there together, and I think you can throw that line up, and you could throw Beef Stew in the middle. You could throw Karras and Huerter out there, and I think they would be able to hold their own as a second rotation. I may be forgetting some people, Ryan Hollins, I get it. But in my opinion, man, I was talking to somebody at the gym. We couldn't figure it out. Like, damn, is it personality? Is he not a good practice player? Is it attitude? Because when he be hooping and they gotta play him due to injury, or they play him, I mean, he's a good player. He instant bucket. You see what Cam Thomas doing over there in Milwaukee? I ain't gonna say he could do it to that level, but he can do it. I think he could do something like that, and it's just to a shame where there's a clear opportunity for him to get that playing time. And you throw Huerter, who's struggling shooting, you throw LeVert above him, who's struggling shooting. So at that point, why not put him out there with Dennis Jenkins and let them be Lindsey Hunter and Mike James? You know what I'm saying? I think they can, maybe not to that defensive pit bull level, but I mean, they both can shoot. I think at that point, a Lindsey Hunter career, I think, Jenkins and Sasser can put it on the ball, get on the floor and get to the bucket a lot better than those guys could. But I just wonder, like, at this point, you got a couple guys that's fucking struggling. At some point, you just got to ask yourself, what is he not doing? It's just baffling because he can play. But we all know the NBA is politics, man. I say this about America all the time. The biggest disease America got, if some people can pin out racism, some people can talk about the free commerce, how people can come in and make money and take money back to their country and not have to really pay a tariff or a true tax and stuff of that nature, right? But I think the biggest disease in America, and I'm going to get flack for saying this is above racism, but I'm going to say this, man, is that America don't exploit their brightest and their best. The brightest and the best in America are suppressed. They'd rather hide that genius in the classroom. They'd rather hide that possible person that can heal diseases, that can create flying cars. That you had a kid who created I forget what he turned plastic into like fuel. I forget the guy's name. Remember they thought they sent him to the upper room. They don't. They make they bright. They exploit they athletes. They will. They put them in Oak Hill and in prep school. They exploit the athletes, right? The ignorant shit in the grand scheme of things. But they won't exploit they geniuses or the true best. They make them go through the same Olympics as everybody else. You would think they would extract the smartest and the best and all this and put them at the top to move the nation, even the world forward. And, they don't do that. And it's the same way in the corporate America. The best workers, they get hated on. They don't get the appreciation. The people who do the less or who lazy, they get the raises, they get the positions of power, they get celebrated. But the true workers that put the work in, they treat them like shit. The true doctors that want to heal and all that, they treat them like shit. So I mean, when you get into this corporate game, it could be a number of reasons they don't like you. Your demeanor, you too truthful. I don't like you because the way, you didn't speak to me. Because remember, there was a real beef between Monty and Jay and Ivy. And that's a dangerous thing, is when they can put you in a leadership position, but you can't separate business from personal. That's a true issue, when you can't separate business from personal. When you can't separate what's good for the geese, but the part that was good for the geese might make you soak your pride up and, have to, ask somebody for something, to ask somebody to teach you something that you don't like. A lot of people can't suck their pride up like that, man. But I just throwing it out there. Like, why can't this guy get on the floor and stay on the floor? I don't want to hear the height thing. I don't want to hear that. He can clearly play. And then my point is this: they take a guy like that and they hide him. And they like, oh no, you can't play. Okay, let me go somewhere else where I can play. You destroying my stock, you destroying he played 3 or 4 years in college. I remember they did that to Tayshaun. Made Tayshaun sit on the bench his whole rookie year because that's the way it's supposed to be. And then when T-Mac started putting his size 12 T-Mac Adidas 1 or 3, whatever the fuck he called his shoe, up their ass, then they pulled him out of desperation. That talent was on the bench the whole year. But check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. First link say find me everywhere. X, Facebook, Kick, Instagram. Click it. Peace.